Creations by Courtney here to get you started on the fall 2023 Crochet Along. We are going to make the Shawldigan together. Isn't she pretty? So the original one, I used warm colors. This time I'm going a little brighter, but that's the thing. You can pick whatever yarn is speaking to you. I'm going to be using 3 colors that I pulled from my stash, but you can go get new yarn, use whatever works for you, but make it worsted weight if you want your Shawldigan to be the size listed in the pattern. So first up, we have Plymouth yarn. This is their worsted weight and it's a wool. So the first sample was made with acrylic, and like I said, digging through my stash and what I had enough of in each color. That's why I'm using wool, silk, and wool. But if you have cotton, acrylic, bamboo, whatever you have, it will work. You just want to check your gauge if you want to make sure that it's the same size. And feel free if you want to make yours bigger or even smaller to change the number of rows completed. But again, I'm going to show you how to get started for each section to make the Shawldigan the size that you see here on Chevy. That's Chevy. This one's Cookie. Hey, y'all. Okay, but back to the yarn. This is a worsted weight 100% wool. This is actually Erie Pea Silk, and this color is called red. This is the natural color. Isn't it beautiful? And then we're also using this lovely variegated, and this is a Mrs. Crosby in Steamer Trunk. And again, Plymouth didn't list the color, but I consider this like a sky blue. Maybe you have a better name. If you do, definitely leave it in the comments, or I can go find a Crayola box. But anyways, these two are worsted weight. This one is a DK weight, and it is okay to mix weights as long as you are using the same hook size. And as we get into it, you'll see that although I'm using a DK weight, but with using a 6mm or size J hook, it actually works really, really well with the worsted weight because again, DK is only a little thinner than a worsted weight. But that's the yarn. Use what's in your stash. Head to the store if you need to, if none of the colors are speaking to you. But don't forget your size J hook. I'm using my Froze Odyssey because I love their hooks. Make sure you have a pair of scissors handy, and then also make sure you have a tape measure. But you can also use a ruler in order to check the gauge. And again, gauge is not super critical, but it does help to have it as a reference to make sure you're on track so that your finished Shawldigan will fit the way that you want it to, and especially when adding the buttons so that you can wrap it or even wear it like a cocoon. So let's jump into getting started on making our gauge. So let's get started with making the Shawldigan. The best way to do it is to start with the recommended hook size. If you know that your gauge or your tension tends to be tighter, go ahead and go up a hook. If it tends to be looser, go down a hook. So making a gauge swatch with a shawl is typically just doing the beginning of it. So I have my 3 colors. I'm going to see how I like using this as the main color, and then these 2 as the accent colors. There we go. So we're going to start with a magic circle, and there's typically you want to hold the end and then wrap twice to make it tight, and I always do this backwards. So you want to hold this to the back and the end wrap towards you. Sometimes I do it with only 1 loop, but 2 loops makes it more secure. Take your hook. All right, I typically like to go through the 2 at the back if you're holding it like that. Pull up a loop. Remove my fingers. And usually just make a chain 1, because sometimes this may count as a stitch or it may not, but you can tighten it and just kind of keeps it from coming apart. So I'm not going to count that as part of the first chain 3. We got chain 3, and this counts as a double crochet. We're going to make 2 double crochets and pull some yarn with a tiny yarn ball. And then we're going to chain 2 and then 3 double crochet. And this is your first point, the chain 2 here. And now we tighten. So as you see, this one comes in. So what I do is I pull one ring like so, and then yank to tighten the other. And there you go, a nice cinched center. And if you notice that that last one's a little loose, I would suggest tighten it a little bit and then redo it. There you go. And now we're going to turn. Make chain 3. And then you're going to actually work in the space between the double crochet. And this is referred to as a double crochet space. So that's 1 and that's 2. Then 1 double crochet between the next 2. And then when you get to the point, you're going to do 2 double crochets. Chain 2, 2 double crochets, all in the chain 2 space. And then double crochet in the next double crochet space. And then you're going to make 2 double crochet in the last double crochet space. And you want to make sure that you don't lose the top of that chain 3, because we're going to place our last double crochet into the top of the chain 3. There we go. And just like that, you have your second row, right? Starting to take shape. And now we turn. And so we're going to repeat row 2, which is you make 2 double crochet in the first double crochet, first and last double crochet space, and then 1 between each of the other double crochets. So let's do that together. We're going to do this for rows 3 through 9. And that's 1. So that's 2 double crochets in the first space, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next double crochet spaces. So it's 1, 1, 1 until you get to the point. Now that we're at the point, we do 2 double crochets. Chain 2, 2 double crochets. And now you're going to do 1 double crochet in each space and 2 in the last space. So that's 1, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, and then 2. And again, easiest to make the double crochet and then kind of slide them over so that you can get to the top of the stitch. Oops. And try not to split your yarn when working between. There we go. Oh, dang it, caught again. There we go. And then slide over. So you work into the top of the first one, first double crochet. Now we have row 3. So continue in this pattern, right? You're gonna make your chain 3, which is your first double crochet, then make an increase with 2 double crochets in this space, and then 1 between each double crochet. At the point, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and then 1 between each space until you get to the last, and then 2. So do that until you get to row 9. You have 3 so far, so just do 6 more rows. Alrighty, we have 9 rows completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And now we're going to change to the next color. Since the color changes are done at the beginning of a row, this is you can change through the last pullover like so. You can do a slip knot. I tend not to because I don't like the added bulk. You can pull through and then turn and start. But for this, I actually like to do my color changes slightly different. So you'll complete the last stitch. You'll take the new color, try to put it on tied around the loop that doesn't slide, the side that's, so let me try that again. So this side of the loop moves from pulling the working yarn. So I like to attach it on the side that would tighten this stitch. But you take the yarn, put it through the loop, and just make a simple knot. Slide it down on top of the stitch. Get your hook, pull the new yarn through, and then tighten the previous color. And then you can pull the end and tighten the knot a bit more, and it's just a bit neater. Now, you would normally cut the yarn, but I'm not going to since I'm still trying to decide the color orders and who wants to create more ends. I surely don't. And if you are familiar with a lot of my patterns, you know that I do a chainless starting single crochet, which you can do here as well instead of just a chain 3. Obviously, you could do a chain 3, but you could also do the chainless starting. So you pull up a loop slightly taller than the stitch will be, hold it, dip your hook under to create a yarn over. So wrap it around, right? So it looks like the 2. Now stick your hook through the first stitch, pull up a loop. You now have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And you do want to hold that in place. Or again, you could do the chain 3. So that would look like this. And this color change isn't perfect, but it works pretty well, especially when actually cutting the yarn and then tightening and working over the end. Okay. This end is so wobbly. All right, so if we do a chain 3, And this is the start of row 10, and then we will check our gauge. You're going to make 2 double crochet in the first DC chain space. This is also a good opportunity to catch the end of that yarn and work it through the stitch like so. And now we're going to cross extended double crochet over the next 2 double crochet spaces. It's a mouthful, so just bear with me. Let's pull out some yarn. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, so a cross stitch means that you work into, skip 1, work into the next stitch, and then the next stitch you work into the skip stitch, but we're using the spaces. So in a extended double crochet has an extra pull through. So you start your extended double crochet the same, you yarn over. Rather than working here, we're going to work into this one. So skip this one, work into this one. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops. You're going to yarn over and pull through 1. This is what makes it extended. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. That's an extended double crochet. So it's taller than a double crochet, but not as tall as a treble crochet. And then you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to work into this space. Now, you have the choice to cross in front or cross in back. Your preference. For me, it's easier to cross in front. And you are going to work on top of this stitch. So you yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Let me remove the hook. And as you see, the legs of the stitch are crossed. And that is a crossed extended double crochet. And we're just going to repeat the cross extended double crochet all the way to the point. So let's do that together again. You're going to skip this one, work into the next, make your extended double crochet, and then work into the skipped one and working on top of the first one. So it's almost like making a little V. And then just keep going until you get to the point. The point is still the same, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. And remember to make it an extended double crochet with that extra pull through 1 and then pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So it's almost like adding a chain at the bottom of this stitch. And when you get to the point, you might notice that it doesn't seem like there's a space. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to use this space and this space. So make it as the previous ones, and then still make your point with 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet, and you're going to do the same on this side. You're going to start with this space and this space for your cross extended double crochet. cross extended double crochet does take some practice to develop a rhythm, but once you do, it will definitely work up quickly. And when you get to the end of the row, make your increase of 2 double crochets and then double crochet into the last stitch. Alrighty. So now we have 10 rows completed. To now check the gauge, which is listed as 10 rows, is a 12-inch wingspan this way, 6.5 inches that way, down the length. Let me find my tape measure because I forgot to take it out earlier. And let's see. I have a feeling that it's going to be bigger because this yarn is quite squishy. Nope. Let's put it on the right side. Oh, actually we are spot on. Woo! For the wingspan and then for the length, spot on. Well, there you have it. The importance of checking gauge. Now, I would say for this shawl, it is not crucial if your gauge is slightly off, meaning that, say, it's 1/2 inch smaller or even bigger. Bigger is probably better. It will use more yarn, but that gives more fabric to drape across your body as a shawl, as the cardigan, things like that. If it's more than 1/2 inch, definitely go up in hook size because that's going to significantly shrink it for every time we add more rows. That 1/2 inch over several rows then turns into, say, 3 inches over 6 rows. That's going to be smaller. And we want the wingspan to be wide enough in order to wrap around the body. And again, this is a simple pattern repeat where you can do additional rows if you have enough yarn. But that is the gist of making the gauge swatch as well as getting started for this.